Boom, 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 boom. Good morning. It is, just so everybody on the live is aware, it is Friday, February 23rd. So if you've tuned into this and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you've got the wrong episode. View your channel. Boom. And we're going to go monetize this mofo. YouTube. Before everybody starts hopping on. And I can actually make some money. Hold on. Hold on. I'm not getting up right now. You can wait your turn. Wait your turn, Daisy. On. Save. Boom. I've got everything on, I think. Morning, Scott. We're going to close that down. Hold on. Okay. Do you want to go under? You want me to get you under? Okay. There you go. Go on. Okay. You're good. You're good. Morning, Mark. Have I told you I love Seeking Alpha? Let's see, strong buy. Oh, that just gives it there. Let's go look at the analysis. NVIDIA. SID signal. Let me see. What's he saying? Our pre-buy on weakness. As you can see, CrowdStrike, Meta, Uber, Microsoft are on the report. A dub influencer? What's dub? I don't know what dub is. Morning, Mike. I'd agree with some of these. Investing group leader. By the way, for Alpha Picks folks, there's a nice SMCI update. If you're not part of Alpha Picks, down here, this third link gets you to Alpha Picks, but there is a Alpha Picks SMCI update. Good morning, Varun. I don't know what dub is. Tell me what dub is, Mark. Let's see. Dub influencer. For dub. The dub family. Oh. It's a financial influencers platform. 48 employees. No, I don't think I'm big enough for something like this. Honestly, this is for somebody looking to grow. For me, I like Savvy Trader. When I joined Savvy Trader, they didn't have charged portfolios. And they approached me and said, hey, you've got two portfolios. We'd like people to have one. If you only have one, we want to make it private. If you have two, we'll make one public and then we'll have one charged. And I said, okay, that seems fair to me. it's a pretty robust offering to offer everything that they offer. Larry, morning, Scott. And Scott, I saw you wanted me to look at AMD. I'll post it. Let me post it up here. AMD for Scott. You commented on yesterday's video. I saw it. Okay, I gotta put in do not disturb. But so Savvy Trader contacted me. He said, "Hey, we like this. We want you to do this. Blah blah blah." And they said, "Which one would you like charged?" And I said, I can't. I don't have the core portfolio is what I want people to follow. And that's essentially what I did. And the trading portfolio, it's great for you to follow me. It's great, doing great. It's doing fantastic. But I don't know. I mean, I just, Tony, LUNR is Brandon's favorite. Brittany bitch. This is hype. It's nothing more than hype. I think it's phenomenal that they landed that damn thing on the moon. I was fully expecting, and I think most everybody was fully expecting a crash. How I would play it, Tony, and remember, I'm not you. I wouldn't have bought in at $4.25. So there is a big difference between myself and you. So asking me how I'd play it, realize my guidance for you is not even buy it at $4.25. You bought it at $4.25. Fantastic. It is currently at $11.43. You've almost three times your money. I would, for me, let's see. We're going to go to the 5-minute, and then I'm going to do extended hour. I would be trading this on a very tight time frame, like 5-minute. And right now, I see that it's got no confirmation. You're below your confirmation line of the 9-day, the way I trade it. You're making lower lows and lower highs. I mean, it's clear. It's pulling back. For me, I'd trade it. But again, Tony, I don't believe in the company long-term yet because they haven't turned a profit. I know they've got contracts. They're still in a very minor stage. This is still this is Bitcoin 2015. They don't even post their financials here. So I don't know how much they're losing. And they only have 18 million shares or 15 million floated. So it's shorted by 11%. For me, you're up 224% year to date. I mean, that's enough for me to take profits. And this chart, when you landed shit on the moon and you get that nice little pump afterwards, and then you gapped up when they announced that it actually landed, or I'm sorry, this morning at 4 o'clock, you get that nice little gap up and you've covered the gap back. For me, I'm taking profits. I mean, but again, I wouldn't put my money into this. So asking me is probably unfair about what to do. I'm just covering the lunar landing and high-fiving Brandon for actually being in this one. He believes in it long term. He is probably a better person to ask. So if he gets on, I'll ask him. So Varun Trading Desk is a good company. Just buy it. I mean, just buy it. It's expensive. But I mean, do you think ads on the internet? I'm streaming right now. It says ad of three of three on my stream on Roku. Roku participates in that. I think the Trading Desk participates. They sell ad space. It's a great company. Just buy it. I don't think that this is one that you kind of. I mean, you can trade it. It's expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong. The valuation on this one is the PE is 233. The forward PE is 48. Ironically, the forward PE of NVIDIA is 27. So do you want Trading Desk or NVIDIA? Which one? I mean, that's kind of the thing is which one. I'll go over Square, Steven. I'll go over AMD and stuff. Let me do some scans because I ain't got all day. I just got to go pick up a car. I got my housekeeper coming today. Morning, Eddie. Morning, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But good morning to everybody. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, John. Good morning, Nevin. And part of the reason I wouldn't be a good influencer, Mark, is because I like it personal. I'm not a big fan of the huge channels and announcement. I will be doing a live trading for paid newsletter subscribers. I don't know when, but if you're a paid newsletter subscriber, I will send you a private link sometime, not next week, but the week after. I still have to figure out the technicals of how to do it because I will be looking at charts on my screen, but I won't be trading on the screen because I don't want to show my portfolio. I don't want to show. I mean, listen, I'm wealthy. I don't feel comfortable with that. I mean, it's just, you'll have to abide by my feelings of some privacy there. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I will be doing live trading though. Essentially, I'm going to have a student with me, and I will be showing them some candlestick patterns to do on 5-minute charts and stuff like that. So, full disclosure, I haven't day traded since 2021. I think I do it every now and then. Like last year, I think I day traded like 5, 6, maybe 10 times. This year so far, it's February, I probably day traded 6 or 7 to where I bought it at, and then sold it in the same day kind of thing. Typically, it's high, and I'll show you how I kind of go about stuff and look at stuff. I don't suggest that you do it this way. I feel much more comfortable doing swing trades or long-term buying and holding, and that's how I sleep at night. But the day trade thing, you can take it, and part of the reason why I'm doing it is you can take that day trading learning about candles and when to enter and things like that. You can take that and move it to a longer-term chart. And that's what I'm going to go over this weekend for the paid subscribers is kind of how I look at candlesticks. I mean, I can't say it any more clear. It's how I look at candlesticks. It's not, I've gone over in the paid newsletter under the education section here. We have when to sell, buy or sell, how I pick my prices, divergence, what's 4-hour time frame. You can see it all in the education right here, everything that I have. But I thought that it was mainly focused on a lot of fundamentals and indicators and things of that sort. So what I want to do is really look at candlesticks, and it's candlesticks only. And are there patterns that I recognize that maybe some other people don't recognize, or that can maybe help you? Hey. Oh God, I'm sorry. But that's kind of where I'm going on this weekend. And so I thought it would be a good benefit for paid newsletter subscribers to actually get a live one. I'll record it. It won't be available for anybody but paid. It'll probably be a private video with a private link. So, it'll be out there. I just got to figure out the technicals of it. I don't know how to do it very technically. I'm a boomer. So, yeah. But I thought that might be a good benefit for paid newsletter subscribers because I want to give the paid newsletter subscribers every benefit that they can get. So I think it's a solid benefit to look at it that way. I think some people will be excited about it. I think, it should be it'll be a drawn out one. I don't think it's going to be a quick one. I don't think it's going to be very interesting because if I don't find anything to trade, that's part of the learning is being patient and finding something that you can trade. I will probably try and force things in a small, we'll probably trade in the hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, if I don't see anything and I want to force it just to kind of guess. But if I do find something that's a runner, hell, yeah, we're going 5 figures on that mofo. But it'll be fun, and my hope is that I can make it a little bit more interactive. Maybe like almost a Zoom style thing where I can pick and choose some people maybe who want to raise their hand and kind of stuff. But I'm still working out the technical details, and I don't want to spend money on it. So it's like, okay, how do I find a free tool? How does it allow me to mute people? Because some mofos can get out of hand. ETFs. We got, oh God. That's interesting. Hold on, I got to look at that. I would have thought with yesterday's move, we would see SVXY way down. No. What is the VIX at? Let me see. VIX. I mean, it didn't go up. I'd have thought we saw the VIX go up yesterday with all that volatility. But I guess not. Interesting. SPXL? I mean, that's the short. Oh, no, that's the bull. Okay, that's the bull. I mean, God. This is the Ultra Semiconductors, USD. Nail, the builders, home builders. Let me see, BLDR. I have to add this to my brokerage holdings. That doesn't trade much in pre-market. You're welcome, Pavan. Yeah, I try and... There's got to be some benefit to it that other than just reading the stuff for me, and so I'm trying to throw it out there that because it's not like I charge a lot, but I do sometimes feel guilty about. I do a ton of work on those paid newsletters, but I also realize they're like 10-minute reads. I mean, it takes me probably 5 to 6 hours to write them. But I realize they're very short reads. I just appreciate everybody supporting me. Because your boy can't work. Best Buy. Is it time for Best Buy to get out of this? No, I don't like it. Wayfair. GE Healthcare. This one has come roaring back. I mean, this was just a dead weight in the 70s. And look at that chart. I mean, that's just... Yeah. Pins gets a cross up. Is that going to cover the gap? That's an interesting one. The social network ETF, BBBY, Micron. Micron's interesting. Team, Atlassian. Has this one... We can come back to this. They just had bad forward guidance. I'll put it in there. Lowe's, NVIDIA, IONQ, Dexcom. It has come down to 116. I think that's $125 stock, but AEO. God, this one has roared. American Eagle. It's no Abercrombie, but it has roared. I mean, look at that. In November, you were $16. You're at 22 now. Even just recently. Whew. Okay, not owned. Let's go to the Dow. Apple, AMZN. I don't have AMZN yet. I know that. Visa and Merck. Visa's an interesting one with Square kind of doing so well yesterday. NASDAQ 100. Cintas. Google, Packard, Starbucks. I think Starbucks goes over 100 again at some point in time. Ross Stores. Lulu. Interesting one. Lulu. Pepsi I have. Holy crap, there's a lot of names. ISRG. AVGO. Broadcom. When is Broadcom going to split, man? Booking Holdings might be a buy after their earnings. I mean, they ran into earnings pretty big yesterday. But their earnings just tanked. It's half of what it is. But their guidance, I think, was bad. S&P 100. Jim Cramer's on. That's how I know I have to rush. There's just a lot here. AIG, AMZN. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's get back to the Qs. And boom, 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 boom. Qs is up 0.24 in pre-market. PanW's up. I would urge folks to buy PanW. At the very least, you should be buying CrowdStrike, I think. This one has rebounded even more. The algorithm got you out here. It will get you back in at some point in time. If you want to wait for it, that's fine. But before their earnings, I just think Palo Alto was so bad. Fortinet was okay, but you got to be in cybersecurity. Yesterday you said wait 3 days before trading NVIDIA. Would you mean maybe look at buying Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, there's a difference, Scott. So, and remember, this is all just a personal rule. It's nothing more than, just a guess. But NVIDIA gapped up. And so for me, when I see that gap up, you went from 679 to 740. It opened up at 740 yesterday. It never touched that again. This candle, it opened at 650. The low was 642. I don't think it pulled back much during much yesterday at all. So you're seeing, again, this candlestick. Let me move that. See this candlestick right here? This is a 4 hour, so you got two candlesticks from yesterday. The open, which is a 3% a candlestick period. And then the 1:30 to 4 o'clock, and that's a 1.38%. But what you're seeing is this one closed at 773. The high was 781. This one opened at 773, which was the close of this one. Opened at 773, goes up to 785. You've got a higher high. So, yeah. So, Scott, for me, with this gap down here, it's not going back to 680 like in the next 3 days or so. But I would say, let's just do this. Let's see. If we just take this from the last time we saw a pullback, which was right here. And it's not a great example, but you saw a pullback here, okay? That's where you saw a pullback right here a couple days before February 16th. The earnings were February 21st. So you saw this pullback all the way from 730 down to 671. Where are most people holding? If I pull this back, you can see the volume shelf is starting to build up here between 770 and 785. But if you lose that, again, if you lose that over the next couple of days, this gap starts to get filled. You're starting to see some support around 700. I would be adding all the way back in here. So what you really have to worry about, specifically with semiconductors, is how many of these big players have double and triple ordered. Remember 2022 with semiconductors? That's when NVIDIA was at like $100. And the reason was because all of the car companies and every company wanting a chip through 2021, because the supply chain was so bad in 2021, they triple and quadruple ordered chips. And so what happened? These companies all of a sudden allowed the companies that double and triple ordered to cancel or push out their chip order, and they're set with inventories that they can't sell. And so one of the interesting things that I heard yesterday was that NVIDIA in particular went from a 12-month waiting period for their chips to a 3-month waiting period in the current quarter. And anybody that has been in a preparation room for earnings for a company like I have, I've been in preparation for a couple of companies that are, publicly traded on the stock market. You damn well know that they talk about how are we going to guide and how are we going to spin this and how are we going to push this to the street. Not what are we going to say in reality? What's the realistic expectation in our company? How are we going to push this to the street? So that guidance to me and the take that it went from 12 months down to 3 months tells me maybe they can't install them fast enough and they've double and triple ordered and they've got, SMCI, they're the installers. So maybe they're the ones that are backed up and you're going to see huge influx of cash flow there. So that's kind of what I mean, Scott, is when I wait 3 days, I'm like, okay, how's the market taking the news? But if you bought at 750 when it opened up yesterday because you didn't have a position in NVIDIA, you're all the way up at 800 now. So you're almost up, 8%? So it's my rule. Doesn't have to be your rule. It's just my rule. And it doesn't do anything other than just allow me to have patience. And so I never want to run into a hype situation. I'd rather have patience. So that's just, it's again, just kind of me thinking, tanked on guidance, INDI. Indy Semiconductor. I mean, it kind of points out to you, 15%. It points out to you, semis aren't all, one basket. There are differences in semiconductors companies. Morning, Solo Boy. AMZN, I think they're the ones with the weight loss drug that, they're the ones with the weight loss drug. I mean, they had their earnings. There's no real catalyst, but you've got the MACD well down here, Steph. You've got the RSI well in oversold territory. The issue that you have is if their drug, their weight loss. I mean, look at that weekly. Have you pulled back enough? Do you have 260 in this? If you're adding a 280, not a bad thing. But 260 would just take you back to the 50-day. Imagine if you have to get back to the 200-day or 240. I mean, look at that weekly. The MACD's crossing down, and it depends. First thing is it depends on your outlook. Second thing is this is a drug company, so anything could come through the FDA and say that their weight loss drug isn't as effective as Wegovy or Mounjaro. Something like that. You just don't know. But AMZN, solid company. They have a weight loss drug out there. It's significantly cheaper than Lilly. I said it yesterday, buying the top in the best in the business, you pay a multiple for it. This PE is 135. The forward PE is 42. I think these guys didn't even give enough guidance based on what I see about the weight loss drug that they have. You can't get it. Pricing is no problem. I mean, they can price it however they want. They can rip people off. AMZN, on the other hand, they have a weight loss drug. PE is 22. The forward PE is 13. But they haven't proven that their weight loss drug will work. So it's got a 3% dividend. Year to date, you're down 1%. So if you thought it was good to buy in January, it's even better to buy it at the end of February since you're down 1%. If their weight loss drug provides weight loss and they get some type of approval on it, yeah, I think it gets back to 320 easily. But whenever you're betting on biotech, and this is part of the reason why I don't bet on biotech, is you never know what kind of stuff's going to show up in a blind study. So I think betting on biotech and stuff like that, it's just not my thing. But if you do want to bet on AMZN, I don't think it's a bad thing if you're betting on that. I don't know where it's going to go, but from a short-term standpoint, definitely looks like it pulled back and the MACD's crossing up, which is usually a pretty good sign. Okay, we got Melly. We've got Square. We've got DraftKings. We've got the biggest movers. Morning, Sherry. Morning, Dan. We've got Reddit IPO. We've got IONQ. There was a lot of comments yesterday about watering your weed, so I wanted to go back and visit that Warren Buffett quote. We've got semiconductor ETFs. We've got NVIDIA. We've got rating upgrades. So we're going to go to Seeking Alpha. And Russian sanctions. AT&T confirms widespread outages stemmed from update glitch. BS. I've been in that room too with cable companies where you get attacked. It was just a glitch. Yeah, just a glitch. Nope. They were hacked. Why was Verizon down when AT&T was down? Why was T-Mobile down? And maybe they used the AT&T backbone a little bit. We're going to go over there. Okay, let's look at the Qs. Okay, I'm going to hit record because I got to start recording. Let me take a drink of water. Luke, if you don't have a position, just buy it. It's going to be $1,000 stock by the end of next year. At some point in time between now and the end of next year, NVIDIA will be $1,000 stock. Does it get back to 500? Maybe. Again, if you're triple ordering and stuff, maybe. If you don't have a position in NVIDIA, okay, that doesn't mean you don't own NVIDIA. If you don't have an ETF that has a large position in NVIDIA, if you have no NVIDIA, just buy it. Don't even think about it. Yeah, I can touch on it. SMCI. It's pulling back today. It's down at 947. I mean, 3%. It's not pulling back. You know what's here? Let's go to Twitter because TrendSpider posted a great, and Pavan, I'm not going to bring it up, but if you go and look at TrendSpider, Chez Boulard, I really like him. Oh, okay. Here's TrendSpider. AMD looking squeezy for you AMD folks. That previous all-time highs capitulated, putting it up there, going up to new highs. CEO Jamie Dimon, Tesla, bears continue to defend the earnings gap that could get ugly. If they don't, I mean, that gap right now is resistance. This is SMCI. So this is a typical valuation time frame. So when you get these crazy manias, this is a good view of how that usually works. Is you get this crazy bear. This is a bear trap. And everybody thinks, oh my God, it's pulling back. Well, it starts to move a little bit. And it just gets crazy. You get FOMO, enthusiasm, greed, absolute delusion, new paradigm. And this is where it just, oh my God, we pulled back and it's going to get to 600. Yes, this was where I sold. I didn't get back in here. Return to normal, fear, capitulation, despair. And so you're back down here, return to the mean. This is the mean. This is a typical, this is from John Paul Rigo, Department of Global Studies and Geography, Hofstra University. This is your typical valuation timeline. And so it gets a little bit crazy, but it does go down. And we've seen it before. We've seen it all the time. The difference with this and SMCI is they have the future earnings. But again, I put it in the back of my mind. Any kind of guidance that they gave, you've been in those boardrooms. If you have, well, how are we going to spin this to the street? Well, we're just at the beginning. What did SMCI just do? They just floated $1.5 billion in bonds. So what did they want? They probably knew something about the NVIDIA earnings because these guys are best friends. They started their company at the same time. The CEO of Supermicro and NVIDIA. So they know each other. Not that they're talking to each other, but they damn well know each other really, really well. So this is SMCI, Pavan. I mean, that puts it really, really well. You're getting a little bit of a pullback today. I want to see if this is true. If this is true, then I don't want to buy this raising knife. I will buy when it gets back to 1,000 if that's going to be the trade. If this doesn't come true, you're going to get this back to 1,000. If this actually comes true, you're never getting back above 1,000. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. I may miss out on what are we at? 954, 3.45%. I may miss out on that. But I'd rather see it go crazy. Again, the valuation is there. If we just look at SMCI, it's not crazy. It's just not crazy. I mean, 33 PE for what they're doing, they're growing by like 40, 50% per quarter. So that's not crazy. I mean, earnings per share this year, 83%. Earnings per share next year, up 32%. Earnings per share over the next 5 years, 48%. Earnings per share the past 5 years, it's 66%. So they're slowing down their growth, but they're making more money. So you can't grow at 66% when you're already a $54 billion company. You just can't. So, sales year over year, 39%. Earnings per share quarter over quarter, 62%. So when you grow that big, but when you get bigger, it gets harder. The comps just get harder because, if you're a $100,000 company and you grow by 100%, that's only $200,000. That's not tough. When you're a $100 million company, you're growing 100% to 100 million to 200 million. That's really tough. When you get to $1 billion and you're trying to grow by 100% to $2 billion, that's tough as well. So the larger you get, the larger that percentage, and the lower that percentage more likely goes. So that's where the street's multiple, that forward PE, starts to just die down a little bit. I mean, price to sales, it's expensive at 5.90. But I don't think it's overvalued based on the guidance that they've given. And PE is 33. And if they continue to blow it out, then that forward PE just comes down. Just like NVIDIA. I mean, again, there's a reason NVIDIA it has a forward PE of 27. I mean, at this point, NVIDIA is cheaper than Supermicro on a forward PE basis. But, does the past 5 years, you've grown 48%. The next 5 years, they didn't give guidance for 5 years. Next year, it's 18%. Are you willing to pay 27 for 18% earnings per share this year? It's up 89%. So it's a tough business to trade these stocks, but I would play the momentum. So my SMCI, I think I gave you a pretty good idea. I don't think I'll go over it, but I'll hit record here in 1 second. I want to see the after hours real quick before I start saying, yeah, we'll open up. Let's see. Yeah, we're bullish. I mean, we're bullish. That's your 200 period. That's your 50 period. I mean, everything's moving up. Your MACD isn't crazy high. It's still got room to go for today. Your RSI at 65, a little bit overbought, but nothing that we haven't seen before. At the middle of the day yesterday, you were at 79, and it came back down. So here's a little divergence for you. See how this is heading down. What'd the stock price do at this time? The stock price, and let's see. I wasn't up on the candlestick. The stock price here, we're up here. It moved down, not as steep. Moved down, so. But yeah. Let's clear this all out. Remove all annotations, because I don't think I have annotations on the 4 hour. Pavin, don't get FOMO. We're gonna move this back. See, I can't move it back far enough on a 5 minute, but we've got plenty of people buying here at 420s. We don't have a lot of people buying up here in the 430s. But let's see. There's the Fibonacci's. We gotta remove this. I'm not very good with Fibonacci's. I gotta read up about Fibonacci's. Okay, I'm hitting record. Good morning. It is Friday, February 23rd, and I got a decent night's sleep. Everybody commented about the energy on yesterday's podcast. I didn't think I had any more energy than normal, but if you were listening and you liked the energy, you can thank Penny, the dog, for that one, because I was awakened at 7:30 yesterday morning. Not really awakened. I'm usually in bed, but I thought somebody was blowing leaves in my backyard, and I kind of, heard it for a little while, didn't think anything about it. But then I realized my neighbor had a tree service cutting down the tree that kind of covers over both of it's right next to my bedroom window. And so there were guys out there, and little Penny decided to tell the tree guys she did not like what they were doing. So I had a little bit of energy from chasing a little 9-pound chihuahua around the house to try and calm her down. You ever see a dog that shakes with the excitement? Yeah, that was Penny yesterday. So maybe that was me on the podcast. My apologies to anybody that didn't like the energy, but F you, it's my show. What the hell are you going to do? I love Seeking Alpha. I tell you guys this all the time. Seeking Alpha is one of the greatest. It's $189 for a year. You get it if you go over here to my link tree, down to the third link, it's the second link. Get $50 off. But I'll tell you a couple of reasons why I like Seeking Alpha. First, I get an email every morning with the Daily Stock Pick core portfolio because I've imported the core portfolio into their portfolio. You can import your own portfolio and get that same email. What it said was rating upgrade. Goldman Sachs got an upgrade in their quant service from hold to buy. There was a downgrade, rating downgrade. Netflix got a move from buy to hold. That usually tells me with a good stock that moves down, I may want to look at it. I may want to buy it. With a stock that moves up, if I own it, great. Let me look at maybe trimming it. That's the first reason why I like Seeking Alpha. Second reason why I like Seeking Alpha, I can log on this website and just look at 4 stocks to watch. This is the trending news. You can go to the news segment if you want, or the analysis segment, or the market data segment. You can go there and just look at this stuff. But what I really like is scrolling down here, and you can customize I haven't customized this, by the way, and I need to, but I like it the way that it is. I like getting all of the information. I don't want to, limit myself from the information. I pay $189 a year. I want that information. So this tells me the tech and communication stocks' latest analyst strong buys. These are from the quant, the large cap. Mid cap, small cap. Do you want to find a small cap? Boston Omaha Corporation just got upgraded to in the technology sector to a 5.0. May want to look at some of those. Then analysis for you. It takes a look at my portfolio, looks at what I reviewed, and it says, ooh, you may want to look at these analysis. Apple, it knows I'm a huge Apple holder. Well, Apple, China problem now, US problem. You can read that analysis. I love that, and it's specifically based on me, based on what I've searched for, based on what I own, things of that sort. Financial stocks, here's the latest analyst recommendations for strong buys. You can see SOFI Technologies, strong buy in the mid-cap section. We go over that one all the time. I think it's a $10 stock. So do some analysts because they think it's a strong buy. Latest quant rating, strong buys. We can go over here. And it's 4.66. Again, these are just quant ratings. This is from the Analyst Street. Latest quant ratings in staple stocks. Tyson Foods. I would never touch Tyson Foods. Molson Coors. Kind of like the company. Kroger. I'm not into a supermarket. Post Holdings. Price Smart. And then small cap Vector Group. I don't know a lot of these names. Here's the latest quant from Consumer Discretionary. I bought BLDR. Look at what's up there. DR Horton, Pulte Group, Home Buyers. Look at Ulta. I own Ulta instead of ELF. I probably should be an ELF. But Ulta has been on a tear. Look at Play in the mid cap, Dave & Buster's. That just got updated. So I look at this latest analyst strong buys. Stellantis, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen. They're obviously looking at, in the consumer discretionary, some auto plays. There's not GM and Ford. Notice that. There's not Tesla. So latest in analyst strong buys. And then the industrial sector. Boy, look at that. BLDR. That's the latest analyst strong buy, 5.0. So again, I love this because you can even go down here and look at ETFs. What are the ETFs that they're saying? Boy, and wouldn't it be nice to have NVDL, the 2 times long NVIDIA daily? That would be great. You're interested in energy stocks? Boom. Here's the latest analyst on energy. So again, for $189, this is a fantastic tool. And all you do is go over here. You save $50 when you go to this second link on Linktree and get Seeking Alpha Premium. I would suggest, even if you don't get the premium, I use this service for free for long before I got the premium. But I love this, and this is the reason why. Again, I can put this show together in 5 minutes because I can look at this trending news. You can do this too. Next week, I will be off on Wednesday and Thursday. I will still do a newsletter, but I will be off on Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure you're at least signed up for the free version of Seeking Alpha so that you can get it. I'll still put out a newsletter, and if you're interested in the newsletter, it's right here. It's dailystockpick.substack.com. It's also at the Linktree. You can do it, but it's free during the week. The weekend, I will do a paid newsletter. This weekend's paid newsletter, it's going to be with candlesticks. It's going to be how I day trade on candlesticks, going to be looking at exactly which candlestick patterns I like, which ones I don't, things of that sort. So if you want the paid, you can get the paid. But if you want the free comes out every day. And you can actually trade on the free. So why not sign up again? And that one's free. So let's talk about some news. NVIDIA. makes Wall Street history. Rally continues with $2 trillion in sight. This is just a rally that I said it yesterday. Hey, if you don't have NVIDIA, you should get it. Look at the Qs. The Qs basically gapped up, and you got a gap here between 426 and 433. Understand this gap up, you've got to wait a couple of days, because if it starts to return to that gap, most likely it's going to fill that gap. We still have volume at that gap between 425 and 428. So I would fully expect it to come back there. I don't know if it is. It's at 440 right now. You just opened up at 440. The Qs are up 0.5%. Yesterday, we were up to almost 3%. I hope your portfolio soared. I really hope your portfolio soared. SMCI was down a couple of percent. It's back almost to even now. NVIDIA is up 3% to 811. But yeah, the charts, they're crazy. I still say wait 3 days for NVIDIA. If you don't have an NVIDIA position, so here's my guidance for NVIDIA. If you don't have an NVIDIA position today, check your ETFs. If they're not over 4% in NVIDIA, if you don't own any NVIDIA outright, just buy it. At some point in time over the next year and a half, so probably by the end of next year, this is going to be a $1,000 stock. That would be a nice, 20, 30% move? And so you may go back down to 500. You may hit this 500 level. If something unforeseeable happens, say NVIDIA, runs into a problem, Taiwan is all of a sudden taken over. Well, most of the NVIDIA chips are made at Taiwan Semi in Taiwan. If China invades, this is back to 500. Say something like that happens. I want you to load up the Brinks truck and basically get into this stock. That would be an opportunity to get into this stock. Doesn't mean that you made a bad choice in buying at 800. It would just mean that, hey, there's an opportunity to buy this one. They will come back. Things will go back to normal. They will find other foundries like Intel to make their chips. It will happen. It's not the end of the world. But if you don't have a position, I would get in. If you do have a position, my guidance is like what I'm doing. Wait 3 days. We're probably not going to touch this gap that was made between 675 and 741. We're probably not going to touch it. And so that gap, if you start to get filled, you probably will start to fill it. But if it doesn't fill, then you're using 741 as support. And I think you get back to the 700s. I think this 800 is hype. I think it's rally. I don't think that it's overpriced. The pricing is completely justified. But I do think at some point in time, sellers show up. Right now, your RSI is you're overbought at 73. I mean, we've been at 90 on this one. This was 84. So it's not unrealistic. Look at how high that MACD is. I just don't want to enter in during the hype phase. So that's my guidance for NVIDIA. If you want exposure to NVIDIA, but you don't want to buy NVIDIA outright, here are semiconductor ETFs takeoff that NVIDIA's earnings report. You can see the NVIDIA exposure in SMH, SOXX, XSD, PSI, SOXL. So you can see the NVIDIA exposure in these. SMH has 24% weighted in NVIDIA. So if you want exposure, but you don't want to buy NVIDIA at the highs, just get yourself a semi ETF. That's the way I would play it. Yesterday, there were a lot of comments about my using the watering the weeds. I wanted to bring that back because it's not my quote. It is Peter Lynch. And this is a story, and it's from Yahoo, so everybody's going to be able to read this. But it was basically Warren Buffett had read Peter Lynch's book, and he loved this quote about holding on to your runners and getting rid of your losers. And the quote is, if you get rid of your runners, meaning that you don't let them run, you get too nervous and you cut out and you're like, oh my God, LUNR, for instance, it's up 32% at 1095. Anybody that got in at $4, and I was talking about it, anybody that got in at $4, if you're not letting it run, and you're not looking at charts and seeing that it's doing something, and you're taking profits too soon just because you want to, you're cutting your winners. Your losers, if you're down 10%, I'm in DocuSign. I have too many stocks in my portfolio now. So the watering the weeds was totally personal in that I need to get rid of some stuff because I do have some losers. I've got to stop watering my weeds, and I've got to allow my runners to win. SMCI, perfect example. The algorithm in SMCI didn't get me out. I let emotions take over and I sold at 850. Well, did the algorithm get me out? No. No. And yeah, I laugh because the reality is there's nothing you can do. You feel uncomfortable. You can't go to sleep at night. You're like, oh my God, it just crashed from 1,000 to 850. I'm going to take my profits because I've got 100% gain in this. There's nothing wrong with that. I could have trimmed it. I could have held on to it. I still hold it in my brokerage, so I didn't get completely out. But in my retirement account, I can get back in. Again, if it breaks 1,000, I'm going to get back in, and maybe I get in at 1,000. Well, maybe it runs to 1,100. That's still a great profit. Doesn't mean that, me getting out at 850 was a mistake. I just missed 850 to 1,000. Big deal. Again, you have to be happy with your So read this article because it's a really good article about, how the quote came about, what it means, how Peter Lynch manages his portfolio. The amount of response that I got from that quote tells me you guys want this, so I'll include it in the newsletter. One of my losers that I probably should be trading and not necessarily holding, I think I hold 2 shares of this, so it's not much. It's IONQ. I saw this and I said, I gotta put this in the newsletter. IONQ is quantum computing for anybody that wants to know. It's a analysis, IONQ upgrading to buy based on new information. Great article. Again, Seeking Alpha. The quant has it as a strong sell at 1.37. If you click on that quant rating, they will tell you exactly why. It's momentum, it's revisions, it's profitability, it's growth. They're not making money. I mean, there is nothing good about this stock, but it's hype. You should actually trade it. Don't own this one like I do. Again, the IONQ, it's kind of a crazy thing. Reddit, I applied for their IPO. I do have a Reddit group. It is down here at the bottom, I think. Do I still have it at the bottom? Yeah. The Reddit community is at the very bottom. Think about joining it. We got a few people in there. Pretty good group. Not bad, conversations. We have a Facebook group if you're on Facebook, if you're a boomer like me. And I definitely post more in the private Facebook group than I post on Reddit. It's hard for me to keep up with all this stuff. But what do I think of the Reddit IPO? Here's my problem. I don't think that they have a clear path to growing their revenues. It's not clear how they make money because it's not an advertising-based business. They generated $804 million in 2023. That's up from $667 million in 2022. That's not a huge gain. They had gross margins of 86 and 84%. That's fantastic. Net losses during the same time periods were $90 million. They're losing money. So while they have revenue and gross margins, they're still losing money. So I don't know where they're making money. One of the assumptions was that they'll sell their data to AI models so that large language models can train. That to me would be a problem. If you look at Wall Street Bets, they don't like this. And so when your own community is going to short your own stock, that's a problem. So I'd stay away from this one, even though it probably will be good to trade on with hype. I think you trade this on tight time frames. I don't think that you go out and buy this. Biggest stock movers. Block, we'll go over this one in a little bit. It surged over 13%. It is clear Square is the winner. Between Square and PayPal, you should own Square. I own both. I'm getting out of my PayPal. I've told you I'm getting out of my PayPal. It might be, it's about watering those weeds. I'm watering the weeds on that one. Shares of Carvana. Carvana jumped 29% as the used car reported its first ever profit and forecasted Q1 adjusted. You guys know Carvana's buying my car for a lot of money. I'd be a little bit scared of this one. The short interest in that one is huge. Biggest stock losers, Booking Holdings. Shares fell 9% despite better than expected Q4 results and initiation of a dividend, the ongoing Middle East, blah, blah, blah. Mercado Libre dropped 7%. I'll go over the earnings. Intuit missed. Square, I didn't actually, the interesting thing, I didn't know Square owned Tidal Music. Tidal Music is the service that does music, just like it's owned by Jay-Z, I think. Reborn King of Thule. Buy shares, never options. That's how they rigged it. Low flow, only retail. It's junk. Let's see. That's AMP? Hold on. You caught my eye. I got to see what kind of junk this is before I put you. Why would you buy this? There's no shares. Why would you buy this? Reborn King. Tell me why. There's nothing that tells me in this stock chart to buy. Give me a good reason. Other than you're pumping and dumping. I mean, even the owners are putting in $10,000. Why would you buy this? There's less than a million shares. How are you filling this? What brokerage is actually filling this, No. Stay out. Bad advice. Just outright bad advice. No. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever. You're buying because somebody else is buying over $2? Let's see. If somebody's buying over $2, and don't get me wrong, you can trade this one all you want. I would never suggest you trade it because the float is so low, you're never going to fill. Go and try and sell this during the pump and dump. Go ahead. Yeah, you're up at $1.99. I mean, somebody bought at $2.05. You think that guy's happy buying at $2.05? If we look, let's see. Where's everyone buying? There's $1.97 is where everybody's holding. $1.94. You think they're happy? They're probably trying to get the hell out of this trade, honest to God. And nobody's willing to buy it for anything less. So if you're in this trade, get the hell out. 5-minute chart doesn't look good. You had this golden cross right here. That was a great time to buy. Down here at $1.81 because you had all forward momentum. You have no forward momentum right now. Why would you buy? Again, last Tuesday? Come on. I mean, what does that tell me? You got to do a tighter time frame on something as wild as this one. I mean, look at the long-term time frame. If you want to look at the weekly, why the hell would you get into this? Company's not making money. Reborn, tell me that this is a great play. No. Look at that hype. Look at that hype on November 27th. And you had a 53% move in this stock. There hasn't been that kind of volume ever since. That was hype. You're losing money. Okay, I'm ignoring. I'm moving out. I saw it. It caught my eye. I was like, I should ban this guy, but I'm going to give him a chance. That's not how you make money in this market. That's not how you play stocks. That's how you gamble, Reborn. That is 100% gambling. That there's no reason to buy. Somebody bought it at $2, so you're going to buy it? Come on, get the hell out of here. No way. You're out of your mind. Go and trade it. If you make money, kudos to you, Reborn. Kudos. I would never tell somebody to go into that. Absolutely not. No way. Some of the traders, speak up, because there's a bunch of traders in here. There is no way I would ever, A, follow somebody into a trade, B, knowing nothing about the company, C, having that low float. You're never going to fill on a rug pull. You're never going to fill on a rug pull. That's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to buy into that. They want you to buy into the hype. And Reborn, you may be part of the rug pull team. Ain't going to be a rug pull on my audience. Hell no. Hell no. Do not go into that stock. Okay. Let me start recording again. Sorry, I had to yell at somebody on the YouTube live about a obvious dump and pump. Pump and dump, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, God. Mercado Libre lost. They dropped all of the earnings yesterday. It was Intuit. Square did really well. Carvana up. Melly down. LUNR landed on the moon. We'll go over all of that in a little bit. DraftKings. They got a nice bump up. DraftKings did. Firm sees significant growth in the U.S. DraftKings, good play. I think this one has found its bottom at 40. It's trading at 41.85 right now. I think if you can get in at this point, I think it's setting up for a nice little run here. You got the MACD that's right at the oscillator. You got the RSI at 49. You got upgrades coming in. Their earnings are behind them. Their guidance was a little bit disappointing, but I don't think it's crazy. You got March Madness coming up. You don't think DraftKings is going to go up on March Madness? They're going to have something. That's it. Yeah. Intuit, they did not do well. Intuit, I think it was same thing. Guidance was down. They are down 1%. It wasn't a huge, I think it was down like 4 or 5%. Now it's down 1%. This is the TurboTax thing. So yeah, I think it's something that if you think TurboTax is going to blow it out of the water, Intuit's your thing. Somebody contacted me last night about doing taxes. I told her, I said, Cash App allows you to do taxes for free. That's what I'm going to do. I have a very simple tax structure. So income by 2 or 3 sources. And then I have my stock stuff with I can kind of probably just summarize in the Cash App just to check to see what I get back on Cash App. I always suggest doing your taxes in 2 software portfolios if you don't have a tax professional. 2 software systems so that you can compare and look at the forms. We should be able to do our taxes on the back of a postcard. This is one thing Donald Trump was 100% correct about. 90% of Americans should be able to submit, and the IRS knows what you owe. They're just like, yeah, you tell me what you owe, and then if you don't do it well enough, I'm going to ding you, and I'm going to audit you. F you, IRS. F you. So DraftKings up. Block. They had a crazy good quarter. Unlike Rivian, unlike Lucid, unlike PayPal, this was just how you run a company, how you guide. It is up 21% today. 21%. Remember I said, this is from a long time ago, this $87. We're going up there. Let's look at the weekly because most likely that's looking at a weekly line. No, it's not looking at a weekly line. But today at 84, I think that's the resistance level that you get to at about 90. We hit it here. We pulled back. We hit it here. We pulled back. Here we hit 82. We pulled back. I think if you get a higher high, I think if you pass 90, I think you can buy it here anywhere between 85 and 90 and get back to the 200-day. Again, this was a transformational quarter. I didn't know that they owned the Tidal music service. Like I said, that was what they wrote down in the quarter, but everything else was super, super strong. Carvana. We can look at Carvana because I trashed Carvana yesterday. They are up 40% today. 40%. 40%. Again, I say it again. 40%. I shouldn't have trashed this. In my personal opinion, this is a short squeeze. The valuation on this makes no sense, but I think it is a short squeeze. If we go over here and we look at Carvana, because I don't know how to look it up, you look at the short float, 35% is shorted. Okay? I think this is a short squeeze. Soared in pre-market as Friday, Raymond James upgraded its rating on the stock to market perform. Tempe, Arizona base rose 19% in the after hours trading. So the 40% comes on the back of this upgrade by Raymond James. Let's see. Did they put a price target on it? I don't know. Today, no price targets. They just moved it to a market perform and an outperform. Those are today. Carvana's, this is a rebound story. It's not a horrible rebound story. I still wouldn't get into it. They're still not making money. I don't believe in the used car market. But if you think that they're going to get back, that 200-day is right in par there. So that is right in line with where you might be. Look at this stock before pandemic. I mean, in February of 2020, before the pandemic hit, before the world shut down, this was a $102 stock. I think the same management's in place. So I won't condemn anybody for getting in, but it's up 40% today. So that's crazy. Here's the Mercado Libre. Profit hurt by one-time tax expense. Stop slips 9%. I think you buy on the weakness. I've said it before, though. Personally, I like the weekly chart that it has. This weakness, you do have this $1,300 gap down here, which could be affected, but it's quickly going down. Now, if we look at the weekly where I saw that thing, you're not even down to the bottom of this trend. If we extend this out, let's just extend this out. Because if we extend that out there, you're not down at the bottom, but you're close to the bottom. And if this continues this trend, then you're looking at significantly higher highs. I like the company except for the valuation. If we go over here and we look at Melly, the forward PE is 34. Again, if you're going to take write-offs, if you're going to lower your guidance, that's a high PE. The forward PE is 30. The PE is 84. If we look at Amazon, you look at Amazon has a forward PE of 32. They didn't lower their guidance. They have a PE of 60. So I think Amazon's cheaper. In my mind, I think Amazon's better than Melly. But if we go over here to Seeking Alpha, again, this is why I love Seeking Alpha, because I can go over here and I can say, you know what? Let me look at things, Melly versus Amazon. We're going to select the symbols and we're going to take out that. We're just going to look at Amazon, the two, because everybody calls Melly the Amazon of Latin America. Look at this. 1 year, Amazon's up 82%. Melly's up 62%. 3 year, Melly is up 1%. Amazon's up 9%. 5 year, Melly is up 386. Amazon's only up 114. So long term, Melly had the opportunity. Short term, it does look like Amazon's beating him. 1 month, Melly's down 6%. It's the PE. The PE is driving this one crazy. And that's it. So LUNR landed on the moon. If we go and we look at LUNR, I'm going to go over here. They landed their lunar lander on the moon at 8 o'clock last night. What I want to show you is I expected this to crash. I expected them to crash that aircraft or spacecraft, whatever it is. It did not crash. But what I want to show you is the after hours in TrendSpider, because if we, not the trading, display after hours. I want to show you in a 5-minute chart the after hours action in this, because when they landed on the moon, it was nuts. This is, again, this is 1845, which is what, 6:45? This is where they started. If you were trading this around landing on the moon, as it started to land, you had confirmation. This candle right here, confirmation. You could have bought at $9.92. And once it lost confirmation, you sold at $11.37. Doesn't matter that this is when they, 4 a.m. this morning when the news actually hit and nobody was watching the stock market. It was at, opened up at 12.42. It closed at 13.50. It got to 14.35. And you got there around 8 o'clock this morning as well. You've lost all the confirmation. So if you're in LUNR, I think somebody on live asked me about LUNR. I said, hey, if you bought at $4, you sell at 11 because you have no confirmation whatsoever right now. It's losing confirmation. The movement is down. I would sell it, take your profits. You can buy back in lower. Even if you bought in at $4 and you sell at 11, doesn't mean you can't buy back in at 8. I would say the support here is about $8.60. I think it comes down to there. I think you're looking at an $8 stock here. So LUNR, I like it. I don't love it. Let's talk about SMCI. I think I gave some guidance on SMCI with during the live. So let's just look. I'm going to go over here to Twitter because I don't think I gave this on the podcast. And if I did, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to go back to it. TrendSpider put out a great chart about SMCI. And I want to show it because it shows the hype train and exactly what typically happens. And what typically happens is, this is from John Paul Rodriguez, Department of Global Studies and Geography, Hofstra University. This is the stealth phase where nobody really knows about it. This is where people start to get notice of it. This is where I started talking about it. You got the first sell-off because, yeah, it's a small cap. It can't go this big. You've got to get bigger. So you get this bear trap where everybody says, oh, it's coming back down here to the mean. It doesn't get to the mean. Then you take off. Here's the mania phase. The media starts to get crazy about it. The enthusiasm starts to go. FOMO all of a sudden takes over and you got greed. This is absolute delusion. New paradigm. Hit 1,000. Then you get the denial that, oh my God, it's going back to 1,000. And the bull trap is when it goes back up and then it's just coming back down and it returns to the mean. Okay? This one is almost textbook. Right now, you're looking at SMCI down 10%. It's down 10% at $858. This is where I sold it at $850. I will have a chance to buy it back. I didn't buy into the mania. Yes, if you're trading on 5 minutes, yes, buy into the mania. If you're trading on a daily, if you're trading on a 4-hour, if you're trading on any of those long-term candles, do not buy into the mania. Trade it on a short-term basis. That's what you want. I'll include this in the newsletter. Let me just see. I'm going to copy this so I have it. Copy link, and I'll put it. I will put this in the newsletter because right now SMCI is textbook on this. And kudos to TrendSpider for posting this stuff. Even if you don't have TrendSpider, you should absolutely follow their Twitter. They post charts for free. You don't have to have TrendSpider. You can do it in TrendSpider if you want TrendSpider. It is now $892 for the year. You get it by clicking on this top link in the link tree and then emailing me. I send you my 4-hour algorithm. I send you all my watch list. I send you everything that I use to manage my portfolio. NVIDIA, on the other hand, I think this one, you just buy it. Like I said, I know I went over this, but if you don't have a position in NVIDIA, you just buy it. Social request, Lou Dog. Thank you so much, Gary, for responding to my question. I'm a novice investor that started in 2020, and I've made some mistakes. I look forward. Let me see. Oh, I can't read this. I've made many mistakes. I look forward to hearing your podcast every day. You're awesome. Lou Dog, you're fine. I think he asked about NEO and what I said. My note to him, and this was a note that I wrote last night, mistakes happen, Lou Dog. It's part of the learning curve. I've made some mistakes, the exact same mistakes that you made, which was buying and thinking it's going to come back. One mistake you should know, Lou Dog, your note included, you are awesome. You put YOUR. Don't make me go third grade teacher on you and pull out my red Sharpie. Details matter. Don't get down about it. Just keep learning. Details matter. Maybe you were in NEO and you didn't understand NEO and you didn't know it. Details matter. So first off, learn the apostrophe, you are versus your. And second off, you're welcome. Keep listening, keep learning. I mean, that's what it's all about. HB Barnes wants me to look at CLSK. I don't know what CleanSpark. CleanSpark. Let me go over and see what CleanSpark does. CLSK. I was looking up the VIX earlier before. CleanSpark. Oh, it's a hold in the quant. It's a strong buy from Wall Street. CleanSpark, B. Riley, root among financial gainers. Let's look. This was yesterday. Let's look at CleanSpark. It just tells me that it gained 9% yesterday. This is a company that information technology, application software. I can go down here and I can read their description. Operates a Bitcoin miner in the Americas. It owns and operates data centers that primarily run on low carbon power. So it's a Bitcoin miner. I like Mara. I mean, honest to God, I just like Mara. We can go over here and we can look at CLSK. Most likely, this is hype that you're asking about because it has been hyped up. CleanSpark is losing $82 million. Their forward PE is 45. That is super high for a company that is losing money. Why is a Bitcoin miner losing money? Well, Mara's losing money as well. They're losing 350 and their forward PE is 1550. I like trading Mara because Mara has an incredible float, 215 million shares. CleanSpark has until 192. So I think you just pick between the two. Do I think it has long-term? I mean, here's Wall Street. So let's take a look. Again, Seeking Alpha is great. Let's look. Its average Wall Street price target, $12.03. It's low, $8. Where are you trading? $16.52. So you have 27% downside. Look at how this trades to its target. I mean, when it's trading below its target, absolutely buy it. When it's trading above its target, I wouldn't touch it. But that doesn't mean you stay out of this. If you want to trade it on a short-term time frame, go ahead and trade it. I think it's fine. Bullish Bites. Dude, these guys are awesome. If you're not following Bullish Bites it's bullish, BULLISH _ BYTES on Instagram. These guys are great. They pointed out, he said, dude, love the energy in your pod yesterday. You never said it would be, but I could tell you were hyped. Your content keeps getting better and better. Thank you guys for the nice words. Social request from the team here. We'd love you to look at ANET, Arista Networks. Let's see. They wrote, their customers are Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and more, crushed their earnings and made a sweet recovery to the 260 range. Let me know if you think it fills the gap at 280. Here's the Wall Street analyst. It's a buy in Wall Street. You've got 8% upside to $291. You're trading at 268. Unlike CleanSpark, this one has an 8% upside to get to the price that Wall Street thinks it's worth. The valuation is crazy. It's crazy. It's ranked number 1 out of 46. This is a solid company. I like this company. If we go over here and we look, because I'm going to use apples to apples, forward PE of 31. Again, NVIDIA is lower, but this company is solid growth. PE 40. The price to sales 14. It's expensive. It's up 14% year to date. If we look again, the average price target, 298. We look at this January 8th upgrade, but nobody put a price target on it. The last price target was December 14th, $300. You can look down here. Nobody's really buying. They're exercising options, but nobody's really selling either after they exercise those options on February 20th. That's a pretty good sign. Does indicate that maybe there's something coming up here. Maybe they're going to do something. Nobody wants to sell their options. When you see people, exercise their options and then they don't sell them immediately, again, questionable, but not bearish, not bullish, but not bearish, kind of in my mind. Because if you exercise those options, it indicates you want to sell them. If you don't sell them, you just say it's not a good time to sell. And that's what management is really just stock traders. And so why do they not want to sell? Well, they don't want to sell because look at that MACD. That MACD is coming down. It's below the oscillator. It's about to cross up. You're about to get a buy. You're just getting out of this 8%. Now, the algorithm makes you 73% over 2 years. Buying and holding makes you 120%. Your average win on this is 11%. Why does this work? Why do you want to listen to the algorithm? It provides you some safety. So when you get in, you win, let's say 55% of the time on this. And the reason is because it's an upward trending stock. So long term, you've pulled back to the 9-day. You still have confirmation at 268. I don't know that you necessarily pull back to cover the gap to 280. What worries me about this weekly is look at how high that MACD is. Do we have more downside? I don't know. I mean, again, we're at all-time highs on the Qs. We're at all-time highs on the S&P. We're at all-time highs on the Dow. I mean, Arista Networks, it's part of the AI revolution. If you think the revolution still has room to go, get it. I mean, again, get it. But if you don't think if you think we've reached the peak, don't buy it. Arista Networks, I've been looking to add to it. I'll probably buy it. Again, I was looking for a bottom. On the 4-hour algorithm, we're going to get a buy. Probably makes sense to look at a 5-minute time frame now. Do we have any strength in today's session? Let's see. We're kind of getting into weakness. If I'm buying it today, I'm looking at this gap that happened, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. It gapped up from 254. This was NVIDIA earnings. I mean, it gapped up. We like the 3-day rule because this does trade kind of with NVIDIA since it's an AI train. You've got weakness in the short term. You've got extreme strength in the long term. But you haven't gone wrong in this one. So I would say, I would say you probably want to buy. Again, the average price target is $299. Chris from the newsletter. Great pod, newsletter, as always. And, of course, congrats on your new Tesla. Thank you. I picked it up today. I've been eyeing SURG for a while. So let's look up SURG. This is Surge Pays. It's taking a dip, but looks on the good on the usual metrics, solid outside of potential being hard to fill. What are your thoughts? I see a good 15% in the gaps up here. So I see weakness here in the 4 hour. It's scrolling down. The algorithm makes you 94%. The buying and holding makes you 159%. Probably a pretty good upward trend if I look at the weekly, just based on that. You win 41% of the time. Your average win is 17%. So you've got hype here. I mean, you've got obvious. Look at this. Look at the volume. The volume levels are going up. As it's coming down, you're kind of losing it. I would look. It does seem to kind of hug this 50-day. You had your golden cross here where you moved. I mean, even if you bought at the golden cross and then you immediately lost. I mean, here, say you bought right at the golden cross here and you got worried because you lost 20% and you wanted to get out. Well, it touched that 200-day. Use that 200-day as really support. But if you let me see. Okay, we're going to go there and then we're going to say, okay, we're going to move here because we're back here. You're still up 15%. Again, even though you're seeing this thing, you're making after this initial move down, you're making higher highs and higher lows, and then you pull back. It's extreme. Again, I don't know the news on this one. SURG. Let's go look at SURG here. Strong buy. You've got 80% upside, but let's look here because I like to see the dates of the analysts, and I can look at the analysts over on Seeking Alpha as well, but I don't see too many people. Yeah, it's floated 11 million shares. It's 128 million market cap, so it is small. The PE is not horrible. It's software, but you can't argue with the fact that the quant says it's a strong buy, Wall Street says it's a strong buy, and Seeking Alpha analyst, and it's got A pluses. Chris, I don't think it's a bad one. And you got 80% upside. I just don't see here. Let's see Wall Street. Wall Street ratings analysts. There are, that's why. It's two analysts cover it in the last 90 days. One is a buy, and one is a strong buy. So that's why it's a strong buy there. If we look at the quant and we go here, it looks like it's just gotten out of there. So probably with some of their valuation things moving. Yeah, it was a holdback here where it's $4.86, and now you're at $7.37. And Wall Street analysts, I mean, there's only two analysts, but they think it's $13 stock. I don't think, again, if you want to take advantage of it, I don't think it's a bad one. SMK Telecom is the number one here, but this is number 4. So you know more about it, Chris, than I do. I don't think it's a bad one. I think you'd be fine. Dan, do you have a preferred trading platform? I've heard you mention Webull and others. So here's my thoughts on trading platforms. And I call them brokerages, but Webull is a trading platform. I love the app in Webull. You can get up to 75 free stocks. I think it's 10 now, but you get free stocks right here. Join Webull on the 4th link. You can join Webull. There's links in the description if you're on YouTube or anything else. There's links all over the place. You can get free stocks. I like Webull for their app. So let me be perfectly clear. If you have more than $2,500 and you're looking for a brokerage, just email me. My email's up here in the link tree. It's dailystockpick3@gmail.com. I will hook you up with my financial advisor, Stuart, at Fidelity. If you have $2,500, he'll take your money in. Fidelity is phenomenal. And let me tell you why Fidelity is phenomenal. You want Fidelity or Schwab. Those are the two that I really think are good. Schwab just took over TD Ameritrade, I think, or maybe it was Morgan Stanley, I forget. But you want one of those big guys. And the reason you want one of those big guys are the services and things that they provide. So things that Webull doesn't provide, but Fidelity does. And I don't know if Webull provides this, but honest to God, it would be hard for me to find. It's just easy for me to find. And this isn't because I'm a high net worth individual. Let me be clear. Fidelity provided, so I had to pay a large 5-figure cash amount for my car. And how do you get that 5-figure cash from your bank account or your brokerage account to Tesla? Well, Fidelity, I called up Fidelity. I said, tell me how I do this. Do I have to go get a cashier's check somewhere at your offices, blah, blah, blah. They said, no, we can wire the money and just tell us where to wire it to. And I said, well, how much did that cost? No, that's free. Fidelity clients, hey, you get it for free. So not only did I get it for free, I did it on Thursday at 6 p.m. I filled out, I was on the phone. They helped me fill it out. Well, we sent it over. They said, since it's after 4 p.m., if you had gotten in at before 4 p.m., it would have been by business close today. But since it's after 4 p.m., it's going to be by business close tomorrow. So I'm supposed to pick up the car today. This was Wednesday night. Yesterday afternoon, Tesla sent me an email and said, hey, we just need a screenshot that you sent it to us. We haven't received it yet, but we just need a screenshot that you sent it to us. So I screenshotted that I sent it to them, but it didn't totally include all the information. So they said, we trust you. It'll probably be there. Just make sure that you stay in contact, blah, blah, blah. Their software last night it texted me. We got your wire. Everything's done. Fidelity called me back and made sure that I knew that it was all done, that everything had completed. This is the service that you want from a brokerage house. Webull does not provide that service. So as you get more money in your account, you want the services that these brokerage houses provide. This is just a for instance. The other thing is, Webull just emails me a tax form. When I go on Fidelity's website, they outline everything about my taxes. Again, it's a different level of service. And do I pay for it? No. I know I'm a high net worth individual. I may get some benefits where I don't have to wait like 30 seconds. I wait 30 seconds or less on the phone because I've got a specific group that I call. Yes, I may get some preferential treatment, but I can tell you, even when I had less money, Fidelity was always my top pick. I had E-Trade, I had Merrill Lynch, I had TD Ameritrade, I had Schwab, I had Bank of America. I had tons of these companies. And I basically said, once I got enough money together, I said, why am I in all these companies? Let me find one. I did my research. Fidelity's the one that I picked. It may not be yours, Dan, but if you are a trader and you have a small account, I love the Webull app. Even if you have another brokerage firm, I still love the Webull app. I threw $1,000 in there. I'm at like $4,600. And by the way, one of these days I will do a live. I'm just going to sell everything in Webull because I'm at long-term and I'm going to rebalance that portfolio. So that's what I'm going to do live one of these days too, probably for paid members, paid newsletter subscribers. I am going to do a live trading session for paid newsletter subscribers as well, coming up in the next couple of weeks. Watch out for your email, or just email me and ask me if you're a paid member. Yeah. So Dan, that's it. Scott wants me to look at AMD. AMD is going to trade with NVIDIA. I mean, earnings for these companies just came out. AMD is going to trade with NVIDIA. I said it before. I put this in with earnings coming up on January 30th. The AI chip has gone some craze. This one may see some pullbacks. I'm long on this one. I am long. This was written prior to January 30th, and I put this range in prior to January 30th. And the reason I put that range in is see it going into earnings. I said, this is where I see the range coming. And so maybe I'm a savant. Maybe I see this. But look at where we are on the range. You opened up today at 181. Right now you're at 178. You're down 1.9%. I think you at least pull back to the 165 level. So do I want AMD? Yes. If you don't have AMD, it's time to get it. Look at that MACD crossing down there. Look at it. The algorithm has you in today at 181. Get it. It's trading at 178. Just get it. If we look at the long term of AMD, you can see back here, we are at 167. We passed all-time highs. Do you get into it here? I think so. I mean, again, this is a long-term buy and hold for me. So it's not one that I necessarily trade. Scans, we had a ton. There is a ton. I'm not going to go over every one. There are a ton of leveraged ETFs. There are a ton of Vanguard ETFs. There's a healthcare one, GE Healthcare. That one's significantly moving. I love that one. Pinterest, PINS. This is one that I bought. I think this one has an opportunity to gap fill. It's got a cross up here at 3602 on the algorithm. Look at how far that MACD is down. Look at how the RSI is down at 42 in no man's land. I think this one, in my mind, I'm going to dollar cost average my loss here. I bought at 46. 30. No, did I buy at 40? I think I bought at 30. It's 36, 37, somewhere in that neighborhood. The day before the earnings. Yeah, it might have been at 40. Maybe I bought at 40, but I've written it all the way down. I believe in this, this company. I believe in this social network. I believe in Elliott Management, the people that are in this one. This is one that I wanted to point out because we did have a cross up 3602. You're trading at 35. We don't have confirmation. I would wait for confirmation. The algorithm loses you 47% in this. Understand, this is a weak algorithm stock, but I like it with that gap. And so I want you to trade this on confirmation. I don't want you to trade this just because it got an algorithm. The algorithm loses you 47%. If you bought 2 years ago, you've made 50% by just buying and holding. Your average win in the algorithm is 8%, but you only win 30% of the time. It doesn't have these enormous moves. Like this 29% move, that's way above the average. I don't think you're going to see a 29% move in this, but I did want to point out this gap. If you have any questions, again, Linktree's here. I suggest, the tools that I use, TrendSpider, get that one. Seeking Alpha, I went over how you're going to use it. You're not going to regret. $189. It's fantastic. Alpha Picks, you want to beat the S&P, click on that link, find out how. These guys, they just released their SMCI update, so you can get an analysis of SMCI. These guys were in SMCI. Remember I showed that chart of SMCI here at TrendSpider? These guys were here during the stealth phase. That was 2022 they bought in. So again, Seeking Alpha Picks, it's basically 2 stocks per month, and they buy and hold it. Or they sell it when it gets to a certain point. You can read up about how they pick stocks. There's a great podcast if you just search Seeking Alpha about the Alpha Pick stuff. It's great. So I will talk to you guys Monday because today is Friday. Paid newsletter this weekend. It will be all about candlesticks, trading just on candlesticks because, again, from a education standpoint, I've gone over a lot of stuff that has fundamentals and it has indicators and it has stuff like that. I haven't focused on candlesticks. And candlesticks, you can use it to trade on a 5-minute weekly. You can just look at the candlestick and identify the trend, and you can use it. So I'll kind of guide you on which candlestick patterns I like, things of that. Again, it's going to be a paid newsletter, but my newsletter, for the most part, is free. If you don't want to support me, I love that you just subscribe for free. You don't have to pay me, but I do think there are some benefits for the paid one members. It's $15 a month. I think I raised the price to $135 a year. And I'm going to raise the price again, just FYI. As I do more lives, as I do other stuff, I'm going to raise the price again. If you lock in a price, even if it's a monthly price for $15 a month, you get that for the life, as long as you continue that subscription. Just be aware. That is the pledge that I make to people. The people who got in early and were OGs of the podcast and got in for $50 a month or $50 a year, they're still paying $50 a year. So they get a discount as long as they continue to pay for that for the year. So get in before I start raising. Inflation is real. Your boy has inflation. I'm inflating stuff, but I'm providing a lot more. So that's why I raised the price, just because. And I don't think, listen, there are guys out there. I was on live the other night. There's a guy charging $1,000 for a 4-hour course. $1,000 for a 4-hour. I guarantee you the fucker's just moving some moving averages and saying, yeah, we want to buy here on confirmation. And here's some Fibonacci charts. And here's the RSI. For $1,000. For $1,000. Come on. And I'm charging you, $135 for a year? Again, put that into a month. It's $10 a month. Skip a meal at McDonald's. Get the Happy Meal instead of the Whopper combo. There's my money tip for the day. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay. Yeah, I can go off when I talk about that. I hate selling, but I told I'm a good salesperson. SMCI dipped down to, wow, this day move is crazy on SMCI. Hold on, I got to look at this. And then I got to go because I got my housekeeper coming. So I got to get out of here and get this done. Wow. Look at that move. Okay, you guys on live, I'm going to give you freebie because you guys just heard my rant. So, see how the Bollinger Band cinched up here yesterday afternoon? We were making a move somewhere. It faked you out. It faked you out with some confirmation here on a 5-minute. It faked you out. But if you were quick enough at the open this morning, again, I'm not displaying after hours, but if you were quick enough and you just do, at 15:50, right before we closed yesterday, sell out. Sell out about 996, before you get to the 988, before you get to 1,000. Because 1,000, look, here, we'll run the 4-hour. I'll show you a double top. Here you got to 1,045. We're going to take this out. Remove this segment because I want to show you right here. Look at how these candles right there at 1,000. Look at how they provide. Boom, top. Boom, top. You broke one and then you lost it. When you break it, you lose it. Boom, top. Boom, top. Boom, top. Right at about 1,000. So, Brandon, you got LUNR, man. Quit showing off. What do you need more of? This is just, again, using candlesticks. You can use candlesticks to trade. Look at the 5-minute. Just look at here's the foreshadowing. What do you have? You have higher highs and higher lows. Find the trend. When you find a trend, you can trade. Doesn't matter if you make 1%, 2%, 3%. If you make 10 trades for 1% gain each time, or 10 trades for a 0.5%, that's a 5% move in a day. That's a 1% move. Okay, loves the Whopper combo. Yeah. Skip that Whopper combo for a day. Come on. I probably should have kept it with the Happy Meal and Big Mac, but your boy's not as much a fast food connoisseur as I used to be. Yeah, Chris, you do sling a lot of crap, but Chris, you're a good trader. And Q-Tip's here. USXL. UXSF? I don't know. Connor, are you still here? XF. This is a foreign ETF. I take it. FX. Where is it? XF. There it is. iShares, ESG. Not horrible. What are you paying? 0.1? Not horrible. The expense is good. Quant says buy. Let's look at it. Select symbols. QQQ. Let's just look at it against an ETF. Why would you buy USXF? 3-year. You're not beating the S&P. You're not beating the Qs. 5-year. You're not beating the S&P. You're not beating the Qs. 10-year. It doesn't have 10 years. Does it have 5 years in it? No, it doesn't have total 5 years. But you're still not beating it. 5-day. you're about the same. I mean, if you want to trade it on short term, but I assume this is a long term one. You're beating it 1 month, but again, I'd assume it's a long term 6 month. You're not beating it. You're not beating the Qs. Year to date, I mean, it's 2 months. Honestly, Connor, I look at the holdings of this one, and I'd say, yeah, it owns 13% Microsoft. I mean, it's good holdings, but why not just own the Qs? And that would be my thing, is why not just own the Qs? So whenever you ask me about an ETF, I'm just going to go to the holdings, and then I'm going to compare it to other ETFs that I know. That's not a hard thing for folks to do. RGA GX. Let me look at this. Cesar. Look at the holdings. I mean, American Funds, the Growth Fund of America, Retirement. Anything that says effing retirement in it, stay the fuck away. It's got 358 holdings. Let's look at the peers, because what are its peers? You know what? I'm going to edit symbols. I'm going to take that one, and I'm not even going to look at these other ones. I'm going to look at QQQ, and I'm going to look at VOO. This is why you get Seeking Alpha. This is why Seeking Alpha Premium is so good. So you look at the expense ratio, you're paying 0.3. Why are you paying 0.3? VOO is 0.03. QQQ is the whole thing. Price return, we'll look at total return. Let's just look at total return. 1 year, 28%. You're kind of keeping up with VOO. You ain't keeping up with QQQ. 3 year total return. Look at that. They're blowing it away. 5 year. Who's looking to retire on an 82% return when you can double that with 162%? Again, a retirement fund. Jay Cesar, are you 55 or over? Because Fisher Investments, if you have $500,000 or more, they can take 2% of your portfolio and manage it for you. I mean, again, this is, to me, why pay 0.3 when you can pay 0.03 and basically beat it out? It's not covered, so it doesn't have anything. Dividend. The only reason QQQ doesn't pay dividends. 52-week high. I mean, you're at highs. Price versus 52-week low. You're at your 52-week high on RGAGX. So, it's not a hard, and I don't mean to bash it. It's just, you got to look at your time frame. You've got to look at your, other ETFs. And I go back. Qs have beat a lot of things. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's not as expensive as RGAGX. Why are you paying somebody to not beat the Qs? So, that's the way I look at it. So, okay. I'm going to go. It is 10:30. I got to clean this up. Georgia Power is just here marking some gas lines, I guess, or power lines. So, yeah. Rivian gets double downgrade. Ooh. Of course, Elizabeth Warren warns regulators to review Walmart's planned Vizio. Of course she does. That woman will want everything reviewed. USXF. I don't even know what US. Advanced MSCI. That's not a bad one. I mean, let's chart it against the Qs. Chart it against the Qs and S&P. 1 year, it's underperforming. 3 year, it's underperforming. 5 year, it's underperforming. Oh, but it doesn't have 5 years in it. That's why. Oh, did I? Oh, I did. You're right. I mean, for me, if it doesn't beat the Qs, why am I holding it against the Qs? By the way, this is my memory, Chris. Somebody said, hey, remember where we went to lunch today? I'm like, what the fuck did I do for lunch today? Then she had to tell me, oh, we went out for sushi. I'm like, oh, yeah. And yes, that's a regular occurrence with me. So, Okay. I'm going to go. I got stuff to do. That's a good plan. I mean, you know, and it's kind of my plan with SMCI, Chris. I've got my base in my brokerage portfolio, which I've made a ton of money on, and I've got my my IRA that I can trade it in. And now I've made so much money off of SMCI in my trading trading in the IRA that my brokerage portfolio is just, it is what it is. So, okay. I'm out of here. You guys have a good weekend. I will talk to you. I may be on, if you have alerts, I apologize, but I may be on this weekend trying to figure out some technical stuff with the live for the paid folks. So I apologize, but if you do have the alerts on, my apologies. You can always join me. It won't be anything like super exciting. Okay.